Hello, Geeta and Sophia. How you doing?
Doing well.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm digging the purple hair, mama. I'm like, okay, for the color. I kind of love that. So I love this film, and this is why I love it. As someone else who is a person of color, there's always so many films that address us in a very stereotypical way that doesn't really reflect what our communities are like. So I applaud both for being part of a project that is not doing that, kind of like what we saw when we saw Black Panther and Crazy Rich Asians. We saw a different gaze because it's being done by us.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, how important is it for both of you ladies to be a part of a project that reflects your community in that way?
I think that as an acting in general just feels really narcissistic, and that's fine, I guess. But it's also like it means so much more to be able to stand for something bigger than me as an actor, just so that I, just like morally, it feels right. Like I feel like I'm in a good position in the world. You know what I mean? Like I feel like my feet have landed in a good, solid space.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me too, it's so important, exactly as you said, Carla. I didn't want to over-explain our culture. I just wanted it to be a reflection of my authentic experience and what we experienced growing up. And it was, a movie, by me being Indian American, but also for our community, and for people who related to that community. And there were universal themes in it, but the specificity of it being South Asian, I think it was really important to me to maintain that integrity of our community.
Cool. Thank you, ladies. And let me just say, I laughed out loud. I watched this with my mom and we hollered because everybody has that one relative that's just messy. We like the aunties. We all have that relative that's just a little messy, that when they walk into the confines of the home, you're like, oh, here they come. And I'm not trying to put your family members on blast, but for each of you, can you just like give a subtle hint to who that person in your family might be? I'll start with Geeta first.
And do you know if they're related?
I'm that person. No. A lot of these aunties and stuff were sort of mixtures, and that's my that's the way I can tell you. It's a creative license with certain things. But yeah, you're right. There's always that one auntie where she's trouble. She's the one who's going to stir the pot. Yes. So yeah. I definitely have a pertinent person in mind.
Okay. I won't put you on blast. How about you, Sophia?
Oh, yes, I do. I mean, I definitely couldn't put her on blast. I mean, knowing her, like biggest fan she would be watching, or listening. But yeah, definitely.
We all have that,
we prepare ourselves for it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can get down with that. And Sophia, I read a quote where you called it. Now, please correct me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Manisha.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Is it Manisha or Manisha? Manisha.
You're right. Yeah.
You called Manisha your Meryl Streep. Why is that?
That may have been from me too, but yeah.
What?
That may have been from me too. Did you also say? I think of her also as our.
Yes. Yeah. Why is she the Meryl? Y'all, go ahead, Sophia.
She's classic. It's just like the classic. Yeah, I don't know. When you think Meryl Streep, you think like classic Hollywood, and she encapsulates like the old Hollywood in such an honest way. I feel like that with Manisha so much.
I mean, I watched her films growing up. And I think the most amazing thing about Manisha's performances is that she always brings a real integrity. She feels very real in her roles, all of them. And Bollywood can be very, very exaggerated. This film is also very exaggerated. And yet even within that, there's a real groundedness to every character that Manisha portrays. And so for me, that's, I sort of echo that. Meryl Streep is known for being an actor with a lot of integrity. That's how I feel about Manisha's performances as well. Yeah.
Cool. Well, based on what I've already discussed with you ladies and the fake Swedish books and the great soundtrack, my mother and I got our giggle on and we were thoroughly enchanted by this film. Thank you so much for bringing it to us. And I hope that it does really well. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.